Peace, what's happening? Hotep, Ankh and Jed. Yo, it's Ahasa, it's Afrosynthesis, and today we are talking about the art of prayer, right? Prayer is not stiff, y'all. Prayer is not super rigid. It is one, a divine conversation with God, and it is also, right, a ritual of the tapping into the divinity of your own self. You know what I mean? Like we gotta think about prayer as something that has the same rhythm and flow, right, and love that we express on a daily basis, right? But prayer also, because it is something that is one, a ritual, but also a tapping in to the universal source, so that is something that is sacred and therefore serious. There is a discipline, right, that's going to come with prayer, and that's not to make it rigid, right? In that sense, the discipline it's in the consistency and the constantness of, what's that word I'm looking for? Y'all heard it. Put it in the comments. That's necessary for the compounding of growth, right? Doing something work over time, right? That compounds and builds and allows for momentum behind the things you are looking to speak into existence, right? And so that rigidity, if anything, like I said, it's not a stiffness, but it's about, right, it's about power. But overall, like I said, prayer is beautiful. And so what we're talking about today is a little bit from The Art of Prayer, which is by Nasut Bidi Rasenku Kepper, who is the high priest of the Temple of Anu, right? He gives an understanding, right, of the African traditional sense of prayer, which is one, right, we believe in the interconnectedness of all things, and we have really a duty and a responsibility to tap into the interconnectedness and understand and move forward with alignment, right? Ma'at. And so prayer, as taught in the art of prayer, is really about, one, the science of invocation, right? When we look at the etymology of the word invocation, we get a petition to God. We get a call upon. And when you're looking at that prefix in, you also get the word, right, within, from within. And so seeing prayer as the science of invocation and understanding the science of invocation is a petitioning to God, or calling upon God from within, right? We see that in that sense, prayer is, yeah, it's an art, because the art represents the culture of the science, right? We might all put together some type of bean and a rice to make they make superfoods, but red beans and rice is something we did a little different than everybody else, right? And so that's the culture to the science. And similarly with prayer, there's an art, right? There's a culture to it. That, right, intonations is one aspect, right? When you're hearing a certain tone, when you're holding a certain chant or vibration, right? You're vibrating. That's a frequency, and you're beginning to resonate with that, right? Some might make fun of that, but others might see that, hey, that person's either helping tap into something, or those vibrations are literally helping heal aspects of them as they move and they concentrate on, whatever prayer or intentions they're setting, right? You also have yoga, you have comedic yoga, you have sacred postures and gestures that are being held, or that are being, right, used to channel certain energies and vibrations at certain times. or to offer certain suggestions, right? Like one might be kneeling and bowing their head, right, to show a sign. And similar, these sacred postures help to convey the right wholeheartedly and whole body, mind, and spirit. You also have sacred times, right? We talked last week about the early bird gets the worm and how prayer in the morning is is very powerful. So is prayer at noon, right? Prayer at midday when Ra, the sun, Aten, is at its apex, and you are right recharging. You've prayed in the morning. You've gone through the first aspect of the day, and now it is time to right return. Let's set our intentions. How are we doing so far? We have to check in with ourselves, right? If life is a marathon, right? Life is something continuous. We need to constantly and consistently be checking in on ourselves. Prayer is a way to do that because, like we said, we're spiritual beings. We're divine beings having a human experience. So if we stay in our human, we're not going to be able to see from the vantage point that we need to handle our human and our earthly affairs properly. So prayer is a way for us to go back to source, go back home, which we, like I said, need to do constantly and consistently in order for us to remain powerful and productive in our work, in our, our health and in our love. And so du'a'u is a prayer practice that we do with the Temple of Anu as a Kemetic, right, technique. And it's a prayer that lists different tonations as well as postures and understanding and giving thanks to, right, Neter, giving thanks to the all, the creator, that which can be seen and that which cannot be seen. And so when we move through, this week, take some time and to really set your intentions on how you pray, on how you approach prayer, right? What does that look like? There are times when you're just moving and praying, but there might be times where you need to sit down and have a ritual about it, as we spoke about. There are times where you clean yourself, sacred times when we're looking right at not just praying, as I said, morning and midday, but looking at sunset, praying at midnight. We also have a lunar cycle, right? We're not just have solar beings as well. We're solar beings and we're light beings, right? But we have other astrological bodies that are within the cosmos that are significant to our understanding and our right place in the reality of things and our timing. And so looking at the lunar cycle as well, and just various cosmic rhythms that exist, whether we're talking patterns of weather, water cycles, etc. And so wanted to just come here and speak a little bit about the fact that prayer, does not have to be something that's so, like I said, so stiff and rigid. And I keep saying those words because I just saw the Bob Marley movie, and it's interesting that, anyway, the dancing in it was funny. But prayer, right, is all about connecting with Neter, connecting with God, having that conversation, but it needs to be matched with some meditation, right? Listening. You can't just have a one-sided conversation. You have to be able to listen, right? If you invoke something, you need to be able to rest in allowing what you invoke to come in, do its work, communicate its messages, and you have to be still and silent enough to hear them, right? You also need to have some time to visualize and bring into your imagination that which you want so that your energy is literally upon your vision. Likewise, affirmations, speaking constantly and consistently, again, that which you know to be true. I am, right? I am. And then you begin to see that your life is a living worship and prayer in and of itself, right? So I am Ahasa. This is Afrosynthesis, and let's move forward and make your prayer a little more artful, so that the science can really be lived in a wholehearted way. Peace, y'all.